Corporations do not want you owning a home. I want to talk about that today. As I start the video, the internet signal isn't the strongest, so can you let me know if I'm buffering at all? Type one down in the comments if you can hear me well, or if anything's buffering. Got this story I want to go over with you. It's out of WGNTV.com, a local news station. And it's entitled, "Corporations Want You to Rent, Not Own. Can Lawmakers Stop Them?" The reason why I want to talk about this is because people put so much faith into lawmakers and they don't understand the process. They do not understand how lawmakers actually don't care about you, your family, your wealth. All they care about is getting elected again. Now, it says here, if you rent a house when you would rather own, pin some of the blame on corporate landlords. The 10 biggest institutional investors owned more than 430,000 single-family rental homes at the end of 2023, and they continue to acquire houses to rent to the middle-class families. Corporate landlords seek to dominate the neighborhoods they target, simultaneously reducing the inventory of houses while expanding the stock of houses to rent. Members of Congress have introduced bills to force the largest institutional investors to dramatically cut their holdings. Now, a lot of people don't understand this as well. There is a point where these corporations are going to start to go belly up. Yes, it is true that corporations have been buying up the nation's housing inventory. Yes, it is true, type 2 if you have heard this, that there are people around the world, especially from the WEF, World Economic Forum, that have a plan that they don't want you to own anything, and they're going to make you be happy with it. I think this is a disgusting plan, but there is something coming that most people don't understand. And when these corporations are buying up all these homes to rent to you, it's based off of money that comes in through your pension money. It's the greatest Ponzi scheme ever. And most people just don't understand how it works. But the second that well dries up, and every time there is a recession, people recess in their spending. They regress. One of the ways they do that is they stop putting as much towards their 401ks. They stop saving as much towards their retirement, so there's less money coming in to buy up more stuff. The other thing that happens during a recession is that banks tighten their financing. We're already seeing that with the commercial mortgage-backed securities system. We're seeing that a lot of banks are starting to get really, really tight on the way that they loan money out. And this is why I want you to understand there's about to be a flippening. As a matter of fact, it's already started happening. Many companies that have been buying up single-family homes for the last greater part of 2 decades have actually become, some of them, net sellers of homes. Or for sure, they are stopping the purchasing of homes. I was speaking with an incredible real estate insider the other day that is working on solving the problem for a lot of these large corporations trying to build infrastructure or software so that they can track their multifamily properties better. And he was saying that one of his insights is in the engineering department for homes, and it is dried up. Engineering for new construction is completely dried up. And we've been talking about how Home Depot has come out and they're saying how the consumer's been softening, right? Things are changing over the last year and a half. Now we're seeing lumber prices falling because nobody is buying lumber. Construction has come to a halt. Well, a lot of these corporations that you think are just magnificent and massive, like BlackRock and Blackstone, a lot of people give way too much credit to these companies. They have completely stopped their purchases. The turning is coming. Now, let me ask you this. If you had the opportunity to be ready for this, would you want that? Type 3 if you're one of those people. Say, type 3 if you're like, I would, if I knew this was coming, I'd love to be ready for it and take advantage of it. The truth is, very few people ever take advantage of these things because they don't see them. They don't understand the macro economic factors that cause a housing boom and cause then a subsequent housing bust. So many people sit there on the sidelines and they're victims of these things. And that is exactly what these corporations want. They want you to be a victim. Why? Because when you're a victim, you borrow money. When you are a victim, you are scared. You don't make the best decisions, right? You become a great consumer. That's what America is. It's a consumer of things. Well, another thing, check this out. We're going to dive into this a little bit more, the story. It says renting costs less than buying. And this is a great part of the economic cycle, the real estate cycle that I've been teaching for so long. Because once you see it and people start diving into rentals, that's when more inventory floods the market. We're seeing real estate inventory flowing like crazy. Also, real quick, I'm going to throw an 80% off link for the Mortgage Master Course. If you want to be ready for it, you have to become a prime borrower. You need to learn what it's like. And that course will cause an opening of your mind on what it takes, which isn't that hard at all, to become one of those people that walk into a bank and they go, how much money do you want and when do you want it? But in the right time of the cycle, you're prepared for it. So I'll put an 80% off link below. It says renting costs less than buying. The United States suffers from a housing shortage of between 1.5 million and 5.5 million units. That's absolutely not correct. What the United States is lacking right now is homes that the average person wants to go and buy because they can go and buy them. Home prices are too high because interest rates went from low to high, exactly what happened in 2004. This is identical, yet it's bigger because this time the interest rate spiked faster. They're still the same on a percentage basis as the top of the last housing bubble. But home prices shot up because there were so few people, because when rates were lower, they were lower in the last handful of years than they were back in 2003. That is exactly what's happening. So reporters are very deceived. As a matter of fact, most investors are deceived because most investors that build homes like this, they built homes like this. It sounds funny. I was cruising through this canal the other night talking to one of these, this housing insider, and he was talking about this area and how it's ripe for a correction. It's already begun, and it's going to get really exciting next year. And someone told me, no, homes aren't going to go down like they did last time. And I said, you know, Vanilla Ice had a TV show running for so long for a reason, because these McMansions, not all of them are paid for in cash. There are a lot of them that are actually financed. And what the people that finance these homes for will tell you the exact same thing they've been telling me for a long time. It's cheap money. Well, you know what? It was cheap money to sit in one of these McMansions back in 2003, 2004, because at the same time they're using cheap money to buy homes like this, they were using cheap money to buy boats and to buy other things, cars. Oh, it's all cheap money. Why? Because their money was in the stock market. Their money was invested in going up until it wasn't. And then all of a sudden a panic happens and they start liquidating things. First thing's the boat. Second thing is the second home, and it just starts picking up more and more steam. Well, I don't know if you've been on Facebook Marketplace lately, but there's a lot of Lamborghinis, and now there's a lot of Range Rovers. Things are starting to pick up. All of a sudden, high-end collectibles are hitting Facebook Marketplace. All of this is playing out right now before our eyes. The only question is, do you see it? Say I see it if you see what I'm talking about. It's so crazy to me that most people do not understand that this bubble we're in is going to pop. They just seem to think that this time is different. But right here where it says that rents are cheaper, that's a normal evolution of a real estate cycle. When housing gets so expensive, people shift into rentals. And what happens is the more the news picks up on it, the more people say, you know what? I'm going to sell my house and I'm going to go rent. Here's the catch though. When they go and start to rent and the news cycle gets bigger and bigger, it exacerbates the current inventory levels on homes. That's blowing up everywhere around the country. It's being reported all over the country that home inventory is increasing. Well, since the buyer pool is not increasing, that means now we have shifted into a buyer's market. And we are seeing seller concessions everywhere. Only question is, when do you want to buy? It's very easy to figure that out. You don't want to buy until the Federal Reserve is going into an aggressive rate lowering cycle. I still believe that the Fed is going to lower rates right before the election. 25 basis points, it's going to be nothing. It's going to be a joke. It's not going to do anything substantial to the mortgage market. It's not going to boost productivity or any of that stuff. There'll be a short little bout of speculation in the markets, and which will smack the Fed back in the face, because inflation reports 3 months, 6 months, 9 months down the road will show that that's all it did was lead to speculation. They will have to raise rates even higher. But most people sit on the sidelines until it's too late. They try and jump into the market, and they can't, because they can't qualify for the mortgages to take advantage of all these homes falling. I have watched $2 million homes drop to now 1.2 million in lots of blown up places, including Lake Tahoe, Austin, Texas, definitely Florida, and lots of places in California. These homes, like the one behind me that's just being built, or the ones, down this canal, not every single one of them are owned cash. Here's the question: are you ready to take advantage of this? If you want, I'm going to put an 80% off link to the Mortgage Master course, 80% off. And I'll tell you what, if you watch less than half of it over a 14-day period and you say, you know what, this isn't going to save me thousands of dollars, get me prepared for this, I can't see the bigger vision, it's not going to work for me, I'll give you your money back. Hope you got something out of this. The Economic Ninja is out.